Hello, everybody. It's me, Shad, Polynerdic, doing a vlog for the first time in a little bit. I just want to get ahead of this before we start it. This one is going to be political. I know this channel is usually about video games and tabletop RPGs and stuff that's fun and whimsical and a distraction and all that. But I have to unburden myself here on this. So if that's not your thing, feel free to skip it. The next vlog, I'm sure, will be more fun, more whimsical, more enjoyable, if that's what you're coming to me for. But I have to unburden here. I was told to shut the fuck up earlier today when I was just talking about what's going on and why I think it's wrong. You can't do that to me here, because I'm going to turn the comments off. There's going to be no comments on this one. This is just going to be me unburdening myself and sharing information. Yeah, buddy. You tell him, cat. He can't enter a room without announcing his presence. So that's what this is going to be. It's not going to be the usual fun times, Shad's talking about video games, nerdy stuff. As I said, I need to do some unburdening and some emptying out of the demons in my head, and just trying to get it out there so I can enjoy what little bit is left of my weekend, as it's 7:30 on Sunday night. If you're like me, you're very aware of what's been going on in the world. And I'm not just talking about Gaza. I'm talking about the Sudan, the Congo, the climate crisis that's spreading, the rise in fascism everywhere in the Western world. It's dystopian in a way that I never expected things to be. Like, even living through a still ongoing pandemic, I never expected it to be like it is of late. And trying to discuss it with people that I love and care about, and I called my friends, has not gone well for me. Because I believe in holding politicians' feet to their fire, whether or not they're on team red or blue. If you have my vote, if you want my vote, I am going to hold you accountable for your actions. I'm going to talk about directly to you in most cases, because social media is wonderful for that. I'm going to tell you where you're fucking up. And when I talk to other people, I'm going to tell them where I think people are fucking up and why they shouldn't be supported or should be supported or whatever. Because I don't believe in telling someone to go look it up when I'm telling you why someone's good or bad. I'm going to tell you why I think they're good or bad. I'm going to tell you what they did good that I think is warrants that. And frankly speaking, slaughtering children with U.S. tax dollars, I can't think of anything good that will balance those scales. But as the title of this says, and what I've been thinking about all day is, am I doing enough? Because part of the argument I had today, part of the thing that broke my heart today, was being told that talking about it doesn't fix anything, and I need to do something instead of just talk about it. I was also told to shut the fuck up and not to talk about it anymore, but I have a list in front of me of things to do, actions you can take in light of the unfolding genocide. And this was written back on Halloween. Contact your elected officials. I've done this on both sides of the aisle. I've talked I'll say, because they never respond, my politicians locally and in the broader sense. I have been very vocal directly to them about why they need to hold the current administration liable, hold their feet to the fire, demand a ceasefire, and other bigger issues. You know, like increasing drilling when we're seeing record warm temperatures. Like day after day after day, the world is getting hotter tangibly. And we have a current administration who, despite their pledge to follow the science, is signing off on more drilling. I've done that. I've devoted lots of time and energy into learning about the issue, learning about the history of the region. Because when this all started, you could have easily said I, amongst many of us, were not well versed on what's going on. And the more I learn, the more I am on the side of the people being murdered, not the murderers. There are a number of things that you can watch that are suggested. Born in Gaza is on Netflix. I don't have a Netflix subscription because I'm boycotting them on the heels of them doing their password sharing nonsense and the constant price increases. But if you have Netflix, Born in Gaza is recommended. The Present, which is a 24-minute Oscar nominated film about the West Bank. There's a 7-minute video by Jewish Voice for Peace that you can find. And if it's on YouTube, let me see, what's this link? If it's on YouTube, I will certainly... Yeah, it's on YouTube. I will put that link in the comments below. I cannot link stuff in the video description. YouTube took that away from me because I'm not popular enough. There are donations you can make to emergency response and relief organizations. I have not done so directly yet, but I have purchased things that a portion of went to donation. As soon as I have a little bit more disposable income, though, mark my words, I will donate directly. The big one is follow and lift up Palestinian voices. I have been relentlessly sharing information coming out of the atrocities in Gaza. And I've been trying to impart that information to the people I know and love, and they steadfastly refuse to engage. And if they do engage, it's, again, telling me to shut the fuck up about it. I have not been to any protests, and that for me is a COVID thing. Forgive me for that. I have a fucked up immune system, so I don't do things like that. I don't go where large crowds of people are. Now, I know the protests have largely been very pro-masky. You know, all the ones I saw in college campuses around the world in the last 8 months have been very, very, very prominent on masks. So much so that our lovely politicians are working around the clock to try to make masking illegal in the midst of a pandemic, so that's fantastic. But that is something I am willing to do once I find a way to do it safely. Boycotting companies that are supporting Israel is something I have done since day one. Disney doesn't get any of my money, which, you know, if you know me, nerd-centric, I love Marvel, I love Star Wars, I love a lot of things that Disney has their hands in, and I engage with none of it. Hold on, my cat. Omar, stop it. Stop, buddy. That's not for you. I don't engage in anything Disney has their hands in. I don't eat McDonald's. I don't eat Domino's. Anytime I find a brand or a company is in bed with the oppressors, I back away from it. You know, it's... People love to bandy about the expression, there's no ethical consumption under capitalism. And I know there are some purchases somewhere I make that cause harm in the global south. But I do what I can. I boycott where I know I can. I can live without Starbucks and fucking McDonald's and those places. I'm doing what I can. I'm doing more than the kind of person who wants to put their blinders on and act like nothing's happening. The only thing I think I could do more would be to suit up and go fight on the side of the people in the world that are being downtrodden. And not just in Gaza, everywhere. And that's fucking delusional. That's fucking delusional to think that I could do anything. So I know that that's not the answer. But I can do what I can do. I can not spend my money where it's effective. And I can spread voices and whatnot. Like, I don't have a platform that is noteworthy. I'm not, a full-time streamer. I'm not a YouTube celebrity. I'm not an influencer. But I can talk about the people, talk about what's going on in the small circle of people I can actually talk to. And to have more than one of them basically tell me to fuck off, to tell me I'm not doing enough, to tell me that my efforts are just as ineffectual as what the politicians are doing. It fucking hurts. It fucking hurts to have people that you love because they lack the empathy or the capacity. So maybe what I'm doing isn't enough, but it's what I can do. You're not going to catch me run into McDonald's or Starbucks or any of those places. You're not going to catch me supporting any politician on either side of the aisle that takes AIPAC money or J Street money, that endorses beating college students that are peacefully protesting. The lesser evil is still evil. And I spent my entire early adulthood believing that. And then I bought in, foolishly, naively, on Genocide Joe. Because at least he wasn't the other guy. But he continued the other guy's shitty policies. He continues to cage children at the border. Hell, he just signed off on the executive order closing the border, as they say. We have U.S. troops on the ground in the genocide. Allegedly, they took part in what happened Saturday. Aaron Bushnell set himself on fire months ago because he knew that our troops were involved. When it all comes out in the wash, I wouldn't be surprised if we were there from day one. So while I may not be doing enough to end world suffering, because realistically I'm some fat schmuck from Cincinnati, Ohio, with a very minimal internet audience, with very little financial means. I'm not a global power. I'm not in the White House. I'm not a policymaker. But I do what I can. What I can is better than nothing. What I can is better than being an apologist for the murder of children. Who knows how many thousands of children are dead now? I know I've seen my fill of children blown apart and with their heads gone, man. As a father, I don't know how you could know that, to say what you will about fucking adults and the politics of it and whether or not the Palestinians, the Hamas and their actions were justified. Wherever you fall in that fucking perspective, fucking kids. I have seen kids with the tops of their goddamn heads missing and their brains falling out. Fathers holding their children. And you're gonna fucking tell me that talking about it, complaining about it isn't enough. Why am I wasting my time? Why do I care? Because if it can fucking happen there, it can happen here. And if people think that Genocide Joe is not willing to do that, they have not been paying attention. Because look at what's been happening on the college campuses. Look at what was just said in Chicago this past week about how peaceful protest is not protected under the First Amendment because fuck you, yes it is. Yeah, I'm not doing enough to end it all, but I can do what I can do. And the more I have these conversations, the more I'm convinced that, by and large, the world is populated by sociopaths. Because if you can look at what I've seen, if you can look at dismembered children, Palestine leads the world in childhood amputation right now. If you can look at that, if you can look at what's happening in the Congo with the mines and Sudan with the mines, and just the way that Western culture has fucked up so many people in the world. If you can look at any of that and go, well, Joe Biden's the lesser evil. Please donate where you can donate. Talk about this stuff with your friends and family. Don't, the whole all eyes on Rafah thing that was going on just a couple weeks ago. I mean, it's been all eyes on Palestine for, since October? Educate yourself. Open your eyes. It's on the other side of the room, or I'd show it to you. Let this radicalize you. Read that book. Read books like it. Go to fucking online seminars and meetings and gatherings. Go to ones in person if you're comfortable with that. We all could do more, but we all have to start somewhere. And acting like what's going on isn't vile, isn't evil, isn't reprehensible is not something I can sit by and do. And I pity those of you that can. Like, yeah, ignorance is bliss, and life is so much better when you're not paying attention and you just stay in your lane and you act like everything's fine. You know, be that little dog in that fucking meme where the room's on fire and he's got his coffee and this is fine. Be that if you want. I can't do it. My eyes are open. Yes, this stuff has gone on for longer than I've been alive. And yes, for 20, 30 years of my life, I was naive and not paying attention and just kind of in my lane. But the more I learn, the more I reach out, the more I see what's going on in the world, the more injustice I am forced to see happening. I cannot close my eyes again. I cannot bury my head in the sand. And I feel guilty about the amount of time that I spent on this earth not caring. I will not apologize for caring. I will not apologize for expecting better. Because I know in my core, whether this is my first time around the sun or if you believe in multiple lifetimes and reincarnation and all that, if this is my 1000th time around a life, you don't try to fucking say. Whether it's my first life or my 1000th life, I feel tremendously guilty that people that look like me have ruined the world for so many people. And while I can't individually stop it for everyone and bring world peace and all the things that I hope come in some time, I resent being told to fuck off. Because I care now. Please look into it. Please educate yourself. Please do whatever you can do. Because something is better than nothing.